All right, today's lesson is slope-intercept form. What's our objective, class? Get ready?
Slope-intercept form.
Slope-intercept form. What's cool about today is you're going to use this lesson a ton in high school, like all of your math classes. This formula you're going to learn is super cool. It's powerful. It's useful. You're going to be able to look at a formula and draw a graph without making a table using this formula. It's kind of like a shortcut method. Vice versa, you're going to be able to look at a graph and take two clues on the graph, and then you're going to be able to make an equation out of it in slope-intercept form. So that's what we're going to do. Slope-intercept form is y equals slope times x plus a y-intercept. We use the shortcut form, this. Y equals mx plus v. Let's practice that. What is the slope-intercept form? Get ready?
mx plus
But we need to start with y equals because it's an equation and it has to have an equal sign, so we start with our variable y equals. What do we say, class? Get ready?
y equals mx plus v.
Good. Y equals mx plus v. Now the m is like a placeholder. Or a variable. It stands for the slope. We use m for slope. So what if it's a 2/3 in front of the x, then we would know our slope is 2/3. Our b is a variable. It stands for y-intercept. What does b stand for? Get ready?
Y-intercept.
Y-intercept. Holden already knows this, right? What's the y-intercept, Holden? You just had that look. No? Who knows what the y-intercept is? Remember from before the break. We talked about y-intercept a little bit. Winry?
It's where the line goes through the y-axis.
Where the line goes through the y-axis. Let's look at this graph right here. Where does the line go through the y-axis? Here's x. Here's y. So where does the line go through the y-axis? Maggie. Madison. It's been a break. It goes through right here. This is what I showed students to help you remember. Your car always drives left to right. He's driving uphill, positive slope. But this is a brick wall. Walls are vertical. So when he hits the y-axis, which is a big brick wall, as soon as he hits there, he crashes. Well, where did he crash? He crashed right here at -1. So it's an interception. They hit. All right? So -1 is your intercept. So I can say, oh, my b, my y-intercept, is -1. And look at this. Let me shrink it down a little bit. Here's the equation for this line. Y equals 1/2 x minus 1. So this -1 is right here. It just is not positive because it's down here at -1. So that's my intercept, -1. My slope is right here. Slope of 1/2, rise over run. So let's check that. Do I rise 1, run 2? Rise 1, run 2. Rise 1, run 2. Yeah, so this is my clue, my slope, my intercept. There's two things that can help us graph. Well, take the graph, write an equation. So we're going to do some more practices like that. Y equals mx plus v, we talked about that. So let's take these two equations. And Joseph, yes?
In the last question, in the last equation, like, what would x be?
What would x be? Great question. You know what? When I'm a student in a class, I do two things. I think of a good question to ask. It helps me learn more. And number two, I think, what's important that I want to write down? What's a key information that I should write down? So that was a good question. He says, how come, right in here, what would the x stand for? X is going to stay x. It's going to be a variable. Meaning I can put any number in for x and find out what y would be, and it's going to make an ordered pair on my line. Okay, great question. So let's practice with these. We're supposed to identify the intercept and the slope by looking at the graph. We're not going to worry about the equation yet, just we're going to identify the y-intercept and slope. So y-intercept, again, here's my y-axis. I'm driving a car, left to right, going uphill. Boom, there's my brick wall, right? Maybe the wall's that tall, but I crash right here. What's the y value right here? Lisa? 0. So my b, or my y-intercept, 0. Okay, I can say y is 0. Okay. My slope. To do slope, remember, we needed a triangle, and we need to do rise over run. So we're going to take two easy points, make a right triangle, and I'm going to count rise, +1, a run of +1. So my slope, or m, is rise over run, or +1 over +1, which reduces to 1. Let's try this one. What is my intercept? Where does it hit the brick wall? Okay, let me call on Rachel.
-2.
She says what?
+2.
+2. I had some other students say -2 too, because they're like, it crosses right there. It's not the first thing that it crosses, it's the vertical part. It's the Y. Okay, the Y-intercept has to be where it crosses this axis, and it crosses right there. There's your car driving along. It's the brick wall right there. All right, so our intercept is 2, +2. Our slope, what is our slope? What is our slope? I need a triangle. I need a rise and a run. Aubrey. Rise over run. Here's my triangle. What's my rise? 2. Very good. So if we go from here to here, should we go down? Should we call it a -2? Okay, now if I go here to here, what's my run? It's also 2, but we went left. All right? So it's -2. I could have gone this way. All right? So, but we went left, so we're going to go -2 over -2, which reduces to 1. So let's check that. Is it really up 1 over 1? These are my erasers today. Does it go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1? Yes. So that makes sense. We did it right. Okay, slope of 1. Good. What if my line is, let's do the one on the right side. Maybe I'll make it a little bigger. Okay. What if it goes downhill? Woo, I'm sliding everywhere. Okay, here's my y-axis. Here's my x-axis. Okay, I need an intercept. What's my intercept? Lexi.
-1.
-1. Perfect. Okay, so B is -1. What's my slope? I need a rise over run. I need a right triangle to use. Oh, let's use this one. What's my rise and my run? Hannah. -2 on the run. Okay, what's my rise? -1. So if we go, should we go left to right? Though let's go from here to here. We go right, so it'd be +2. And then we go down. That's a negative. See the signs? Give me a nod if you understand the signs. Give me a no if explain the signs. I don't understand the positive and negative. All right, Kaylee?
Isn't it if you just go down or left, it's negative?
Yes, that would be a good summary. Down or left, make it negative. If you're going right or up, make it positive. So we went right, that's why it's positive. Down, negative. Okay, so rise over run. Our rise was -1. Our run was +2. So I don't need both sides. I just put it in the middle, -1/2. And that's our slope. Now that we can identify slope and intercept, we can whip together equations really easy.
So how do you know whether to go left or right or up or up
You
or down?
can pick, you can go either way. Start at one point and then move to the other point. Or start at this point, move to the other point. Great question, Emma. Okay, horizontal and vertical. They're special cases. And it's still moving. So a horizontal line, I like to, you can memorize it. I just made sense of it, so I didn't have to memorize it. But if we were trying to figure out an equation for this, well, it's horizontal. There's no steepness. It's not steep at all. So the slope is 0. Right? The slope is 0. It's totally flat. It's totally level. It doesn't ever touch the x-axis. It only crosses through the y-axis. In fact, y is 2. Y is still 2. Y is 2, y is 2, y is 2, y is 2. Make that a math sentence. Y is 2. That's the equation of a horizontal line, depending on where it's at. It's just y. There's no x's. It never hits the x-axis. Okay? All right, a vertical line, again, awesome. Let's see if we can reconnect. A vertical line, it's been struggling this afternoon. Okay, good. A vertical line will never hit the y-axis. And it's so steep. Can a car drive on a vertical road? It's so steep, we can't even define how steep it is. So the slope is undefined, but it'll never cross the y-axis. It only crosses the x-axis. In fact, the x is -3, the x is still negative 3, x is still negative 3, x is negative 3, x is negative 3, x is negative 3. It's always negative 3. So I can say x is negative 3. So the equation of a line that's vertical will always have an x. I like that some of you are writing this down. This is good. Vertical lines will have x. Horizontal lines will have y. Connor.
What would happen if the x is on the y-axis?
Great question. So say your vertical, like you're saying it's like right through here. This
Yeah.
is your line. Whoops, and pretend it went through. Well, what is the x value right there? 0, right? So you would say x equals 0. Great question. What if your line is right through here? Well, the y value between the two would be 0. So I'd say y equals 0. Great question. Is that what you were going to ask, Emma? Cool. Awesome. I like that you guys are thinking. Okay, let's look at this. Can I just look at this equation and look at the two clues based on my formula, slope-intercept form, and identify what the slope is? Remember our form was y equals m times x plus b. Whatever the coefficient is in front of the x, that's your slope. So what is our slope in this case? Get ready?
2/3.
2/3, that's right. I can look at it and go, I know my rise and my run just by looking at it. B is the intercept. So what is my intercept in this case? You ready?
-4.
-4, you remember the sign. Perfect. So I could say it crosses the y-axis at -4. And the question is, does it rise or fall to the right? Let's see. Rise 2, run 3. They're both positive. So I'm going to start at, watch how fast you do these. 1, 2, 3, 4. -4 is my intercept. I start there. Rise 2, run 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I have a line. Did I make a table of values? I didn't have to. I looked at 2 clues. Intercept, boom. Rise, run, boom. I need 2 points to make a line. I've got my line super fast. All right. Give me a thumbs up if so far it makes sense. Thumbs down. I'm a little bit lost. Okay. We got a few more practices. We'll be all right. Spencer?
So on the vertical, the line that went straight up, would you be able to find y? Would you just put it as 0 because it wouldn't affect the equation?
Don't put it as 0 because that would make it look like y is 0. There is no y. There wouldn't be any y. Or you could say for all of the y's, x is a certain value. For any y. So it wouldn't even matter what y is. X is always 2 or 3 or 5. Okay? Good question. All right, write the equations of line A and B in slope-intercept form. What do the lines A and B, at what point do they intersect? So quickly, okay, they intersect here. The value is 2, 2, or the coordinate is 2, 2. What's the equation for B? Well, I'm going to do this super fast. I'm going to do this speed fast. Well, B is 1. 1. Slope for this line, I'm going to pick this point and this point. I'm going to run -2. I'm going to rise -1. Rise over run is -1 over -2. Simplifying, I'd say 1/2 x plus 1. Don't forget my y equals. So that's for B. For A, let's pick, how about here and here? This is my intercept. My intercept is -2, so instead of writing positive B, I'm going to put -2. For my rise over my run, I'm going to go rise 1, 2. A run of 1, I went +2, +1, and I can rewrite that simpler and just say 2x minus 2. So here's my 2 equations, y equals 1/2 x plus 1, and y equals 2x minus 2. Could I say that where they intersect, the y values are the same y value? Where they intersect, are the x values the same? They are. We're going to do more with that later in the year, so be thinking about that. Just a sneak peek. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite direction. We're going to take the equation, make a quick graph. Okay, the equation is y equals 2x minus 3, and all we're given is slope and y-intercept. So don't be tempted to make a table. That's more work. This is easier. So we're going to start with 2 pieces of information. Y-intercept Wait a minute, the slope, isn't it supposed to be rise over run? There's no run. What can I do there? Don't I need a run? Jasmine?
Put a 1 underneath it.
Put a 1 underneath it. Now I have a rise and a run. Okay, but I don't know where to rise and run from because I don't know where to start. Yes, I do know where to start. I start at my intercept where the car crashed into the brick wall. So -3 is right here. That's my B. Here's my M. And from my starting point, I'm going to rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. Drop point. Rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. And I could do the same thing backwards, right? Fall 2, run 1. Fall 2. But they all connect linear, make a straight line, arrows at the ends. That was fast, right? Starting point, rise over run. And I won't do this one, but I want to ask you the question. What if I had a negative in the middle? Do I put a negative on the 1 and the 2, or do I just make one of them negative?
One.
Kaylee's shaking your hand. What do you think, Kaylee?
Just one.
Just one of them. Does it matter which one? No, you can just pick. You could have it on the top. So what I would do is I'd cross it out and go like that. So now I would go rise, down 1, run, +2. Fall, run, fall, run, fall, run. And I'd start at your Y-intercept. Where do we start, class? Get ready?
Y-intercept.
Start at the Y-intercept. Don't start at the origin. Start at the Y-intercept. People try to start at the origin. Okay, we're on page 386. Take a 10-second stand-up break. Go.